Japan came out of recession in the fourth quarter of last year, but the world's third-largest economy grew at a slower than expected pace. The economy expanded by an annualised 2.2% in the 3 months to December in a preliminary reading, compared to forecasts for a 3.7% increase. Japan's growth in the fourth quarter comes after the economy contracted for the 2 previous quarters. Japan has been recovering from a sales tax hike, which dampened spending. The economy grew 0.6% in the period from the previous quarter, but that also fell below forecasts of 0.9% growth. Weak growth. The data showed a fragile recovery in the country where consumer sentiment remains soft even after Prime Minister Shinzo Abe delayed a second increase to the sales tax that was scheduled for October this year. Private consumption, which accounts for about 60% of the economy, increased 0.3% in the fourth quarter, less than the 0.7% rise expected by economists. Glenn Levine, senior economist at Moody's Analytics, said exports added solidly to economic growth, accounting for about half of the expansion, while the rest of the economy remained relatively subdued. Exports rose 2.7% in the fourth quarter compared to the third quarter, while imports were up 1.3%. The most disappointing component of the gross domestic product, GDP, figures was the paltry increase in business investment. Japan's corporate sector is enjoying record profit levels and sits atop a mountain of cash, with export-facing firms, in particular, benefiting from better export sales linked to the cheaper yen, Mr. Levine of Moody's said. Yet, so far firms have been reluctant to deploy any of this cash and invest in additional capacity. This issue of confidence shows that firms do not believe that the domestic economy is improving, which is a reflection of whether Prime Minister Abe's economic policies termed Abenomics are succeeding, he said. Japan's weaker than expected growth comes despite a series of stimulus measures by the government. In December, the government approved a $29 billion, £18.8 billion, stimulus package to help businesses and consumers just 2 weeks after a victory by the Prime Minister in a snap election. Markets, however, reacted positively to the growth figures, with the benchmark Nikkei 225 hitting a nearly 8-year high of 18,047.07 in early trade, marking its highest level since July 2007.